Välkomna tillbaka! Då är det dags att välkomna nästa bolag upp på scen, vilket är poLight som är noterat på Oslobörsen. And we're going to switch to English and welcome CFO Joakim Bredahl. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Joakim, and excellent name you have. Thank you so much, and thank you to Analyst Group for inviting us to present today. My name is Joakim Bredahl. As said, I've been the CFO in poLight for almost half a year, so I'm looking forward to presenting the company to you today. Now, we are a tunable optics company, and I will go into that, what that means. But I think it's important to keep in mind during this presentation, because I'm keeping it on quite a high level, that I'm doing an introduction to the company. We work in several markets, one of which is the AR and MR glasses. And then we work in several other markets. We have the AR MR glasses, we have the general consumer electronics market, and we have the industrial market. Now, I'm going to focus on one of these markets today, because that's just easier to follow. So I'm going to focus on the AR and MR market. Now, if we look at what tunable optics means, now we'll get back into that, because it's quite a specific field. But one of the trends that we follow on a regular basis, and one that sort of lifts our technology up, is the rise in use cases coming from the world of AI. So you have consumers expecting quicker and faster information, and you also have what AI has been so far is actually been generating content based on text prompts. Now, this is moving, so it's not only text prompts, and it's moving into more sensory input, which means vision, and it means hearing. We obviously, as an optics company, we focus on the vision part. So the AR world needs vision. It needs clear and it needs quick vision. And if it doesn't get those clear and high quality images, it will fail to deliver on the promise. Now, the human brain, because we are users, and these are end users that will use this, the human brain receives signals from the human eye, and that works extremely quick. The problem for an AI brain is that it doesn't receive images from the human eye, it receives images through a camera. And that means the camera is a barrier, and that's where we come in. So if we look into this camera, just to explain a bit about for those who don't know, a bit about the value chain, you have the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, who are the big brand names. They make the devices, and then they decide on all the tech, and they design the devices, but then they set out to specialists the production of different parts that go into the devices. The camera is made by a camera module manufacturer, and they get the design requirements from the OEMs. They get told, you need to fit this camera module into this design. That means it needs to look exactly like this, and this is the tech you're using. This value chain makes a lot of sense. The device OEMs, they have a multitude of design factors to take into consideration, whilst the camera module manufacturers, they are very specialized. But the thing is, in order to get those high quality images really fast, you need autofocus. You can't. You can work with fixed focus for a certain amount of time, but it will limit the use cases for your device. Now, if you take the glasses as an example, it needs to focus as quick as the human eye does, and that's why you need to make sure you have an autofocus capability that takes up little space and uses very little power, because there's limited amount of, if you look at the glasses on the slide here, there's very limited amount of battery capacity in these wearables. So obviously, poLight has the solution. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about this. And this is through our tunable optics. We have developed an autofocus lens called the T-lens. It replicates the way the human eye focuses, and we call it the human eye experience. It takes up very little space. It's actually the lens itself is the size of the tip of a pen. It works at ultra high speed, 1 millisecond or less. It takes up almost no power, and you also have resistance to thermal changes and to the posture, so which way you tilt. And these capabilities is the reason why the T-lens has been positioned over the last few years for concentration into many of the major OEMs AR and MR glasses that are coming, the next gen glasses that are coming. And that's also why our business development team is using its capacity and its competence to build a pipeline of tier 1 and 2 customers, and we're in discussion with a multitude of tier 1 and tier 2 OEMs to position our technology in. And well, this is all things to come, but it's also why we've already had a substantial number of design wins and mass production in several segments, both in the AR MR market, but also in several other markets. And if you look at what do we actually deliver, we deliver a small component into hardware. So if that component doesn't deliver to the entire value chain, we need to work with the OEMs, we need to work with the camera module manufacturers, and we need to make sure that our delivery, our product is as good as it can be. So we work across this whole value chain in order to get this technology going. So that's why I came up with the tagline for this this little talk. If you believe in the vision tech, you have to believe in poLight. And that's the belief that we get from the prospects that we're talking to. Okay, so that's a bit of our raison d'être. If we look at the company itself, we're a global player in the tunable optics. It means that we have presence in all the major markets that are relevant to our technology. We've been around for. We have headquarters in Norway, and we've been around for 20 years actually this year. That sounds like a very long time to deliver a technology, but actually we operated more or less as a deep tech company for the first 15 of those 20 years. And the first, after we listed on the Oslo Stock Exchange in 2018, the first commercial launch into a product came in January 2020. So the last 5 years have been our commercial phase, where we've been building cases. So since then, we've delivered into a number of devices, 28 design wins and mass production, into several applications. You see pictures of some of them up on the right side of the slide here, and that little blinking thing on the left of that section, that's our T-lens. We have 50 people globally, many vision or optical engineers, and many work with business development and customer development. And you see at the bottom here, we call it the unmatched technical characteristics of our product. It's proprietary tech. We've developed it ourselves. It's patented. We have 22 patent families, and we're still getting more. Okay, so if we turn a bit to, I've talked about the AR and MR market. This is, if we look at these numbers, this is sort of why that market is interesting for us. It's an emerging technology, which means that we can argue and we can build our way into that technology as it is developing. And also the growth rates, projected growth rates for that market are very attractive. But you have also a multitude of other markets, the automotive markets, the cameras in cars, mostly facing inward actually, and the laptop market, which means the cameras that are the web cameras that are embedded into the laptops, and the smartphone market, which are more mature markets. But if we get a small market size into those markets, that means quite a lot for our revenue. So where can we grow, and why do we choose the paths we do? Well, a classic way to look at growth is you can either grow through developing your product portfolio, or you can grow into new verticals, new markets. So in this graph, I've tried to display how the different verticals fit into our that kind of thinking. If we look in the bottom left corner, you can see these we had deliveries into all these kinds of products: wearables, barcode readers, so as an industrial use, and mobile phones. We delivered into a selfie camera in 2023. Now, if you look at the top left, where we see the AR/MR market and the laptop market, the webcam into laptop market, which is a new vertical for us that we're working hard on massaging, but we can deliver to that with existing products. On the right side, we see a development into new products for the back camera on the telephone. That's on the smartphone. That's why the smartphone is in two places. We need to develop a larger T-lens. Then our lens is actually too small. I can explain quickly how the technology works, actually, why we call it a tunable optics. And if we look at the way the human eye works, it's surrounded by muscles that press on the lens and shapes it to focus. So this is what we do too. We have polymer in the middle, sandwiched between glass membranes. And when we apply voltage to the top level, it bends the polymer spherically so that it can focus quickly. And that's the gist of the functionality, but it's taken 15 years of research to get there. But that also means that we can deliver it in a very along all these qualities that I've been talking about. Okay, so if we look at 2024, how did that pan out for us? Well, it's quite clear if you look at the top line for 2024, just under 10 million NOK, that we are not into any of the volume markets yet. We're working. That's our target. That's what we're working towards. But we have delivered into 28 applications that are in a smaller volume market. Goes through the same scrutiny process of quality control, and we need to deliver on the same along the same lines, but it's just not the same volumes. But if you lend your eye to last year's 2023's revenues, you see a trace of it, because there we actually delivered over 100,000 lenses into the mobile phone called the Meizu 20 Infinity, which is a Chinese mobile phone, high-end phone that we delivered into. So you see traces of what it can mean for our revenue to start getting some of these volume devices in. If we shift our eyes to the balance sheet, you see there are two things that stand out. There's the cash. We had at the end of 2024, we had around 165 million NOK in cash, and we had an inventory of over 60 million, which means we are quite well prepared for a ramp up. And this is important when we are in dialogues with OEMs to show that we actually can deliver the lenses they're looking for. So obviously the finance part of our reporting is a bit dreary to look at, because the numbers are quite low still, and it doesn't give an indication as to the progress we're making. So that's why we also, every quarter, when we report, we show this funnel of customer projects and how they're working towards a design win. So we start in the different proof of concept phases and move into the design win phase in the end. And the numbers in brackets are the end of 2023. So that means if you look at that final number on the left there, 28 versus 15, that's a better reflection of what we actually did in 2024, and we've actually delivered quite well. And we're happy with the results we got in 2024, although that's not reflected in the financials. So to sum up, it's been a lot of information for you. The key points, the key takeaways you need to look at: the future of AI is based, amongst other things, on visuals, but it's going to be key for the coming years. And poLight, with its T-lens technology, holds the key to unlock the visuals that can work for AI. Otherwise, it's going to fail on delivering that promise. We've already had success with design wins in key segments. You see some of the products on the right side of the slide here that we're in. There's lots of barcode readers, there's some AR, MR glasses, there's a mobile phone, there's a web camera, there's different kinds of wearables. All these by quite significant brands that have qualified and went with poLight technology. And we've been through this phase now of all these design wins, which means that we are ready for the next phase, of going into the tier 1 projects. We have an experienced management team that have a long competence within building companies, within manufacturing, within development of technology, and we have a very attractive workplace for optical engineers, which is evident in both our global presence, but also the fact that we have 14 nationalities working in the company with 50 people. And we have 6 nationalities in our headquarters in Norway alone. With that, I hope that I've sort of piqued your interest a bit about poLight. We have a large following in Norway. We have a large number of retail investors in Norway that follow the company very closely and share information on a regular basis about the company. We're quite impressed with the kind of research they're doing. So it's sort of a large poLight family that we see in the market. So if you're interested in joining our journey, we are quite convinced it's going to be an exciting one. And thank you so much to Analyst Group for letting me present today. And let's go to some questions.
Let's do it. So a great presentation. We're almost out of time, but I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions. So you're not yet profitable, but you will be when the product is in volume. So how long do you manage with your current cash situation? That seems to have improved lately.
Yes, we had a share issue in last year, in the spring of last year, which improved our cash position. So we have, it depends, there's a multitude of factors that depends how long our runway is, but we have enough to at least, along our baseline, we have enough to at least get into the 3rd quarter of 26.
Okay. And what are the big triggers now for 2025 that your shareholders should be on the lookout for? I mean, what are the major events that you're hoping to land?
I think what our shareholders are very interested in is the development in the market. I mean, we are ready. We have the tech ready. We have the sales people ready. We have the production facilities ready.
Yeah.
So we're ready to deliver. And we're working tight with these different OEMs to get designed into their next gen.
Right. So it's transforming from design wins into actual purchase.
Yeah, we call it a design win when it goes into mass production.
Okay.
So that means that every design win we have has gone into mass production. But then, of course, if you produce 100,000 units or you produce 10 million units, has quite a lot to say on our top line.
Yeah.
I think keeping an open eye for the development in AR/MR when these headsets come out, that's going to be very important to poLight and to the shareholders of poLight. And of course, these are factors that are quite a lot of them are out of our control. But the things that we can control is that they know, and they've been testing, and we've been influencing the decisions from these OEMs. So we can make sure that we have convinced them that our tech is the right way to go.
Okay, well, really interesting, and the cameras are everywhere these days. So optics, of course, is an exploding field. So really exciting to hear it from your perspective. So thank you very much, Joakim.
Thank you again.